Hi, everyone. How are you? It's Wednesday. It's me, Jeff Gerstmann, here to hang out. I don't know, just I shoot the breeze. Time to shoot the breeze, and we'll play some video games and just kind of hang out. How's everybody doing? Oh, Zatoichi in the chat says, need to remember as a UK person, all these streams will start an hour early next week. Is daylight savings ending here? Is that what it is? Oh boy. I never remember when the time changes are. The first Sunday of November of every year and the second Sunday of March. So yes, as of November 3rd, if you're outside of the US, it'll be an hour, the clocks will be weird. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Daylight savings time to me is the one true time. And I think we should adopt it all year. I mean, logically, the thing you would say is I think society should start an hour later. Stop talking about these 9 to 5 jobs and start talking about these 10 to 6 jobs. And, we eat lunchtime at like all of that sort of stuff. I think changing the clocks to something other than, but I guess it's just a reminder. Hey, time is made up. Time is made up by people. People made clocks. People had just invented that shit. And so, try not to be too precious about it, I think is the thing I always have to remind myself of is like, just people just made it. Whatever. So who cares? If we're changing the clocks or whatever. I don't know. I go by, it is 756 beats right now. And that's the only time that matters, I think. So, that part will change because the society. Because my daughter won't get out of school at, 853 beats or whatever anymore. It'll be a different time because of daylight savings and all that other stuff. But I don't know. It's something I thought when Phantasy Star Online came out and Swatch internet time became a thing. Let's just use that verbiage here and not break that down any further. But when Swatch internet time came along, I did have a legit moment there where I was like, man, this is actually like, this could be really useful if we started using this time. This would be great. I don't know where something must have changed with the. I don't know why that's not showing up. The old Swatch internet time is not displaying on screen, which is weird because it should. But maybe, let's take a look at it here. I have no filters on it at all. That's interesting. I wonder if maybe the website I was getting it from is just broken now. Let's try swatchclock.com. Yeah, that site's just down. That site's just gone. That's what happened there. Unfortunately. So, but yes, I still have the piece in place for Swatch internet time to show on the screen, but the website I was pulling it from, I guess, broke. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, I for a while there, I was gonna find my Swatch that actually told time in internet time and get a battery for it and and maybe start wearing it again. And then I decided against it. And then I don't know, when they did Apple Watches this year, I was just like, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna try it again. It had been a very long time, almost 10 years since I had used one. And it turns out if you wear something with a fun screen on your wrist, all of your children just want to wrap their fingers on it and tap it, and even the baby is trying to twist it and rip it off of my wrist all the time, and all of that. And you know, you can, and so the nice thing though is I can have Swatch internet time listed on it, so I can see that it's going to be 88 degrees, and you know, it's 7:58. So all the useful vital information. Was I into Swatch watches in the 4th grade like you were, Maddie? Probably, I don't think it was the 4th grade. I think it was more like junior high. I'm trying to think when swatches got big. When did swatches become the thing? But yeah, no, everyone had swatches with the Swatch guard, and I had the Swatch guard that went around the face, and some people had the one that went over the face, and I thought that one was dumb. And people were wearing like 3 or 4 of them at the same time and shit. Like it was, yeah, I don't know, man. Swatch had their fucking moment for sure. And so it was actually kind of nice. Like swatches went away and no one thought about Swatch for a very long time. And then, you know, Swatch internet time came along and I was like, well, I've got to get this. I've got to get a Swatch. And so it was pretty cool. And then for a while there, I was like, maybe I should get into old swatches, like the ones that were cool when I was in junior high. I think it was junior high. No, you know what? It would have had to been before junior high, but it was probably like 5th or 6th grade, somewhere around there. Anyway, point being, I had a moment there where I was like, yeah, let's get back into swatches. That'll be cool. And then no, it's no. But Swatch internet time stands the test of time. Here we are, all these years later, still talking about it. I remember seeing Phantasy Star Online before it came out, and seeing it in game, and going, "What the fuck is that?" You know, like what is this? And then reading up on it and learning all about it, and being like, "This is amazing! It's such a forward-thinking thing. Oh my god!" And I don't know. I really did believe that there was a chance for Swatch internet time to actually take off. And then I thought about it, you know, like that was not, you know, it's definitely like for a brief period of time. And then you're like, oh, right. Like this country won't adopt the metric system in any way, shape, or form. They're certainly not going to change the way they tell time. They're definitely not going to go replace every clock in the world with something that tells time in beats. It's just not going to happen. So, but it still exists in some form, and we're still able to, you know, I don't know, like it still comes up here and there. It was one of the cool things about co-host is that they had a toggle that you could toggle on Swatch internet time. And I think that's valuable, and it's sad that co-host has been lost, but yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have it on my wrist. I don't know. I talk to people on Discord. Discord should have a thing where they let you know what time it is for the people you are talking to. You should be able to like set your time zone. And so when I'm sending messages back and forth with someone in the United Kingdom, well, I can just look and see if he's online or not. That's usually what I do. And then go like, maybe I don't send this in the middle of the night because I don't know, maybe he's got his phone configured weird, but I don't want to wake the dude up. But yeah, that's yeah. They should just display it is this time for this person. That would be a cool feature. Discord, you should do that. You should do that. You should let people set their time zones if they want to. If they choose to share their time zone, you should be able to do that. And display their time as a timestamp next to messages or something. Well, that would only show after you sent a message, so that would not solve the problem of should I message this person or should I? But anyway, it would at least let you know, like, hey, don't expect an answer. It's 4 o'clock in the frickin' morning. Don't do that. Yes, exactly. Yes, Bobby, you're right. They're too busy adding more Discord quests. I like quests. We tried to build a quest system and then never devoted the resources that it truly deserved to update it and keep it up to date and keep adding them and all of that. And then we lost it around 2012 or so when the site had to be very quickly rebuilt, and I was very sad about it. But turns out is a very small number of people that were bummed out about it in the grand scheme of things. The number of people that were but yeah, whatever. Like, you could argue that like losing cool, even if they're little things like that, like that's the stuff that makes it matter. And as you lose more and more of those sorts of unique twists and turns, you know, at some point you might as well just be another goddamn website. And who cares? So, yeah. Anyway, beats.noah.com. Yeah, I don't know. That's not a bad single screen layout. Maybe I could do it. Let's just try changing this out real quick and see how it looks. I don't like the look of it on a web page, but let's give it a look here. If I do this, yeah, I mean, I need to reshape the thing and change the filter and I don't think we need any decimal points here. Also, when it comes to your Swatch internet time, I just don't think I don't think we need to get that granular for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's not bad. Once you filter it and probably change the colors on it and filter out the background, which I'm not going to do. I am going to do it right now. Turns out I am going to do it right now. Chroma key, color type, custom color, select color, black. Okay. Oh, well, okay. We there we go there. I could further fuck with that to change the color of the. I don't like that. I don't like that color with no background. It doesn't pop. Maybe that's just my eyes, but I find that a little difficult to read. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I figured we would hang out and play some video games today. I don't know. It's interesting. So on Wednesdays here, I'm normally streaming kind of whatever, like more recent games, and there aren't always, those recent games aren't always big, massive, smash hit whatevers. And I find that people are significantly less interested in especially in the archives of interesting indie games and whatnot. So it's kind of a weird, I don't know. But I'm interested in playing this stuff, so I'm going to play some stuff. So, I don't know. Time for Earth Defense Force. It's never going to, hey, you know what? It's never going to happen for me and Earth Defense Force. I think I've really, with the most, was it EDF 6? Is that the most recent one? I played some of that the other day, and I just don't like anything about those games. I don't think they're that. I think the joke is done. I think that that joke was funny a long time ago, and it's like it's cool on some level that they're still making it, but like those games are not good enough. They are not like clunky in a fun way to me. I just find them cumbersome, and I don't get any real enjoyment out of it. It's just not. It just doesn't work for me. And it never really did, but at least like a long time ago, it was like, okay, yeah, is, sure. But yeah, it just EDF's just not gonna happen. I was talking about it on the podcast yesterday, so I thought I would play some Blindfire so you can get a sense of that thing, just to kind of close the loop on that a little bit. And so why don't we do some of that? Let's launch this thing. Whoa. Ruh. Blindfire is a first-person shooter set in the dark, and so it's about sound more so. Well, it's about different senses. You know, you have to pay attention in a different way than you do in most first-person shooters. It is extremely early access, I will say. It does not have... there's not a ton of content here, is what I mean by that. Okay. This is running bad. Let us capture it a different way. And there you go. That looks a little dim. There we go. So that, you know, you can kind of, because the game does do some blacklight stuff in match, when you configure your character, you're kind of just, you're deciding, you're putting clothes on them, but really, you know, it's like different designs that glow in the dark under a black light is kind of the stuff that you're doing. And so, I don't know, this stuff feels very, like there's a bunch of skins, but who cares? For a game that is set almost entirely in the dark, I think the idea of having a bunch of character creation options around this stuff is really funny. Like, what's your pistol look like? Who cares? What? Yeah, why is this running bad here again? What's happening with this? What is happening with this that it is running this way? Why is this happening? Yeah, I mean both the ways I can capture it. So this is not smooth. If you think this is smooth, the background thing should be moving completely smoothly and not hitchy the way it is. It's like as soon as I tab out of the window, it starts running fine. Awkward. Well, now it just completely seized up. Oh. So did I. Am I still here? Did the whole thing break? Okay. That's even weirder. Now, how does it look now? How does the game look now? Because when I tab back into the game now, OBS completely freezes. But I'm still moving, but I'm very hitchy, and the game is frozen. That's... Well, heck. You know, there's I'm not hitchy for you. Okay, so that's weird. That's really weird. Okay, let's get rid of this. And go back to this and see what we can do options-wise. And see if we can figure something out here. Otherwise, we'll do something else. I don't know. Or, you know, hey, this might be a fun time. And by fun, I mean, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's not. So it's very hitchy for me right now. Is it hitchy for you as well? That's my question. Game looks smooth now? Okay. And you hear it. Okay, well, then let's just play some. It looks like crap for me here. The game is running fine on the monitor, but the capture, what I'm seeing on the display in OBS is fuckled. And I'm even hitchy here with whatever the heck is going on. Weird. But if you guys say it looks fine, then let's play a little bit of it. Let me make sure that it's not gonna. I don't even know if it has voice chat, but I always have to try to remember to not, like, some games set to open microphone, and if they do that, then I don't want to be in a game going all talking and shit. Fuck talking. Let's just do quick play, see what happens. There's two modes. It's team and non-team, basically. 4v4 or free for all. And yeah, so you know, it only has 2 weapons in it. I think it has like it's hard because the maps are dark, right? So it's like I think it has 2 maps in it. It may only have 1. Either way, I'm not positive. But it's an interesting idea because it is, like I said, the game is based on sound, and you fight in the darkness, and so you can. There are visual things you can do, but it really is like listening for footsteps and gunshots, seeing where gunshots are happening from in the darkness, and trying to work your way over there and be tricky. And it's very bare bones right now. It's very bare bones, and so it's a little hard to recommend in its current state if you're the sort of person who is judicious when it comes to buying games in early access. But it's a neat idea that I hope they do something with. And also, it's also very possible that no one is playing it because it's the middle of a day on a Wednesday. It's from the studio that is porting Red Dead Redemption to PC. Is that Double 11? Is that the name of them? Yeah, it's. This or Combat Master? Combat Master for sure. Yeah, there might just be nobody playing it. It's of course, right? I mean, think about how hard it is. Think about how hard it is to get a first-person shooter off the ground in this day and age, especially the week that the new Call of Duty comes out and all of that other stuff. Like, they kind of launched it last week out of nowhere, and put it out on Xbox and PC. And I want there to be an ecosystem that is larger than just like 2 games of like the traditional first, like, non-battle royale arena, like first person shooter. I want that to be a healthier, larger ecosystem with more variety, but it's hard.
Weapons free. Echo ready.
Oh.
First blood. Contestant 2 wins.
Did I match with literally one other person? How many people are in this match? The replays are all kind of well, yeah. The replays are a little funky. So why not just stay still? Because if so, I can. I'll show you. So up in the upper left corner is that echo meter. And so I can send out that pulse. There. Ah, yeah. So, you know, obviously they're going to pulse also.
Flawless round.
It's weird that the replay is showing me just standing there because I feel like I'm crouching. I mean, control. I'm hitting control and it seems like my viewpoint is getting lower. Right? I mean,
Contestant 2 wins.
it's actually kind of fun doing this 1v1. Normally this mode is up to 8 players and so you'll see other gunfights happening and be able to like trying to track down the bullets and chase down where you think the bullets are coming from and try to do something that way, and that's kind of cool. Fuck. I walked through a thing that must have made some light there. Whatever that... Man.
Flawless round.
All right. But yeah, man, it's hard to... you know, like... Man...
Weapons free.
Echo ready. Echo ready.
Oh, I thought he went around the corner, but he did not. The pulse doesn't last very long, so it's so that was like I just inferred incorrectly which way that dude went. Cool. And so I think for something like this to work, it needs to have like 50 fucking modes, and as you know, but weirdly, I don't think it needs very many more guns. But I think if you built, like I said, like I was saying on the podcast, like sort of a Time Splitters or GoldenEye level of just like, we came up with a ton of different weird modes, and I don't know, there's a monkey in this one, you know, whatever. Like, I think you could cook up something that would be fun and feel different enough from existing shooters on the market to maybe do something. Yeah, the other thing you run into is like, does one of the more popular shooters just go like, oh, we can turn out the lights too, you know, and do they just do a mode like that, and then it's like, well, you know, it's fun there too. Maybe we don't need. Let's match up for one more or whatever and kind of see. But yeah, you know, I'm not gonna I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because there just aren't a bunch of people playing it. There were dark maps for UT and Quake. Yes. Did people do the maps like this? Yeah, sure. People have done dark maps forever for sure. But, you know, I think there's something in the mechanics of you've got this pulse as time runs out. So, you know, these rounds were pretty quick, but, you know, when time starts to expire, it enters overtime and, you know, different lights will start turning on or getting brighter around the level to kind of force you to stay in the dark parts or just get out there and fight. And so they kind of force you to make a move at that point. And I think that stuff's cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think there's a lot of. I think it'd be cool if you had an offhand, like glow in the dark, like blacklight spray paint, and you could spray it around, and mark whether it's obstacles in the world that you want to just stand out, or you know, if you accidentally hit another player with it, then you can see them running around. I think that would be like a fun, just like a neat thing from a tech angle. Like remember, there's been a few things like it, but it was the thing where it's like you have a gun that is basically shooting out like radar pulses, and so you're kind of painting the environment is the in essence is the effect of like you're just painting, like you can't see anything at all, and then you start shooting things into the world, and it starts sticking to the walls and floors and everything, and you start seeing more of the world. Like I think if they did something like that, yeah, Scanner Sombra is the big one for sure. And there was another one. There was like a demo thing on Itch that I streamed a while back. And I think that something like that would be pretty fucking neat. Or yeah, yes, like if you had an offhand paintball gun that shot glow in the dark paintballs that you could pop out there to mark an area, you know, not mark it with a lot of light, but like also fuck it, put a flashbang in, put a, you know, do weird stuff with light. Make levels that would benefit from like full path traced lighting and make a bunch of weird tech stuff. Yeah, paint. Yeah, that's a good idea. A paint trap. You walk through it and then you're leaving glow in the dark footsteps for a while. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's the direction I would take this in is weirder, you know, and as many different weird light and paint and whatever else gadgets you could kind of come up with and just sandbox it for a good long time until you figure out like, okay, what bundle of these objects and items is actually fun in a mode, and then coalesce a bunch of modes around what you got, and then go from there.
Body count.
And then let people customize it if they want, you know? Like, but that's all easy. It's easy to say that, but then also here we are, you know, less than I think less than a week after their release, and you know, matchmaking is taking forever. So, okay, here we got players. Did I get? I thought like it, the way I kept reloading there made me wonder if I got disconnected from the server or something.
Contestant 1 wins. Flawless round.
Blindfire initializing.
I was getting disconnected from the server playing it last night. Oh man, that's bad shooting. I'm gonna end up dead playing like that. Just fucking scared to death in this corner. Oh. Oh, that's bad shooting on my part. Well, all right. Ah.
Contestant 3.
Okay.
Wins. Close victory.
The difference between the two reloads, I assume that one is quieter. I never remember to hit it.
Blindfire initializing.
Weapons free.
Here's your slow reload. It's slower.
Echo ready.
Ah.
Echo ready.
Contestant 3. Wins. Close round.
You ever have the feeling that you're playing with people who are letting you get off shots on them?
Blindfire initializing.
Weapons live.
Not a lot of bullets fit in this gun. Run away. Ah.
1v1. Overtime approaching. Overtime.
It's always funny to watch
Contestant 4.
here because, like, when you see it with the lights on, you just see people. Like, it just looks crazy. Like, what? Why are these people not shooting each other? Like, oh, because they can't see each other. Like, when you see it with the lights on, everyone just looks like such a goof. How am I feeling with the mouse? It's fine. It's out on Xbox, and so, but I have not played it on console. Yeah, see that's a bug. It'll just keep stuffing shells into that thing. It's funny. Oh god. No. No, yeah.
This is war.
So yeah, when I'm dead, you can do stuff like that. I can, you know, trigger the guys to shoot and
Contestant
you know, make noise around the level and stuff, and that's kind of cool. Just gonna take a wild guess that guy is one of the developers of the game. So yeah, there's a team mode, and then in the team mode you can see the players on your team are silhouetted, so you can, you know, kind of see where they're at and stuff. And so it becomes this, like, you're very carefully inching your way out as a team, at least in theory. How do people get better guns? They don't. It's randomly chosen at the start of a round, so everyone has shotguns or everyone has pistols. I think the pistols are more interesting just because well, I don't know. The shotguns are kind of fun because you can just shoot. You just get a little more wild with them when you go like, there's a guy here, and just kind of try to cover an area and see if you're right. Whereas obviously the pistols are a little bit more precise. I'll see if we can find one more. But yeah, I don't know. This seems like a really tough. It's a really tough market for shooters, man. Right? I mean, but you know, at least this is doing something that is different and like fun in its own way. Like, you know, like what is it? The Next Fest demo thing is happening. What's the Delta Force thing? Is like the #1 demo, and I played that back when the last time they did their demos, and it was just like, this is fine, dude, but like, I don't I don't want to do this here. You know, there are other games where I'd rather do most of this stuff. Was I a Splitgate guy? I don't know. No, like, yes and no. I think Splitgate is cool as hell, but that's not to say that I played a ton of Splitgate. I played a fair amount of Splitgate when it first came out, and then sort of just fell off of it, and you know, people seem unhappy with the Splitgate 2 stuff. I didn't really follow that stuff super closely, but
weapons free.
all right, okay, you go first. That's fine.
Rattlesnakes win.
I don't know, like, Delta Force seems like it has a place right now where Battlefield has not necessarily, you know, taken the world by storm for a number of years now, and also it's been a long time since the last one. And so, you know, maybe they'll find it, and maybe that game will catch on and whatever else. But I kind of just look at it and go like, you know, is this going to be a game for people who are between Battlefield games, and then eventually the other one will come out?
Rattlesnakes win.
But yeah, you know, whatever. My point is, there are other places that will scratch a similar itch as Delta Force will. I didn't come away from that feeling like wow, what a new and fresh experience, you know? And of course, not every game needs to be that. That's a silly expectation. But in the shooter world, like, if I'm gonna fucking get into a game...
Rattlesnakes win.
I'm either already into those games or it's something new and different, and I don't know. It's sort of the, you know, when we were talking about AA games and all AA games are dead and that's dangerous and you know, like, you know, for shooters it's especially dangerous. Like the market is just especially dangerous for different shooters. And it's because, like, you know, you think about, like, oh, you know, games used to be games that you played and then stopped. And then you were done with them, and you, oh, geez. And you went and did, yeah, I just fumbled around in the darkness while everyone else did the work. That works, that's fine. You know, like, even games like Halo 2, Halo 3, you know, they put out their DLC and you played them, but, like, you didn't, you know, you could still play a lot of other games. It didn't feel like this thing where you're like, oh, we got to get back into, you know. And now, obviously, you know, Halo is a free-to-play multiplayer game, and they do their seasons, and they do this, you know, they hit this cadence where they try to keep you playing it all the time by, you know, constantly adding something to it. You know, Call of Duty does, like, multiple, not even quarterly, like faster than quarterly. They do hell of content drops throughout the year. Like, they just did their last one not that long ago, and the game is out, and the new game is out this week. Like, they put out updates to that game right up until the very end because they want you to seamlessly transition from one to the next.
Rattlesnakes win.
And so that just makes it even harder for a new thing to break in, right? Because you've got all these games that don't go away. It used to be like, oh, well, for this 6 months, you know, Call of Duty is going to reign supreme, or 3 months, or whatever it is. But then the hardcore players will keep playing it, but everyone else will move on and do their thing. And that's an opportunity for us to ship our brand new shooter. But, like, the world has changed. You can't fucking make Haze anymore. I'm not saying that people should make Haze. Anyway, that's Blindfire. It's like $9. Like I said, content-wise, it is very light right now. But let's look and see what the they actually posted something here about a roadmap, the road ahead. And see what they have to say about the future of Blindfire. The FPS landscape is packed with exceptional titles. Yeah, so they know, they know. New weapon, auto pistol. New weapon, burst shotguns. This is all for November. Auto pistol, burst shotgun, spotlight, and team spotlight. Huh. Maps, additional map variants for the spotlight game mode. That sounds like one player gets a fucking flashlight and the other players maybe don't. Is that? Well, there's spotlight and team spotlight, so maybe it's every player has a spotlight or not. I don't know. I'm seeing if they are describing this stuff. No, they don't have any. It doesn't look like they're describing what that is. But all right, that sounds interesting. Yeah, Doom 3 mode, totally. Additional map variants. And then in December, utilities system, EMP grenade and smoke grenade, progression system with cosmetic unlockables, private matches, and quality of life improvements. And then Q1, new weapon, Devolver. New utilities, frag grenade and UV grenade. Okay. New game modes, Standout and Team Standout. In-game voice chat, training room, time trial, shooting range, quality of life improvements, and HUD customization. And then some in the future, King of the Hill. new map theme, nightclub theme, new melee weapon. Melee would be fun. New traps, item pickups, new interactions in the Vengeance Toolkit. Oh, I think that's when you're dead. I think when you're dead is when you are in the Vengeance Toolkit. So that's cool that they got a roadmap. I don't know, man. New mode. Spotlight sounds like it could be cool. Some of this stuff, like a UV grenade, sounds like it could be a cool kind of weird. Frag grenade, I'll just say right off the bat, like the idea of this game getting a frag grenade, like the maps are already pretty small. I don't really think that doesn't sound immediately awesome, but we'll see what they do with it, I guess. But what was I talking about? Just like, anyway, just the games like Haze, games like Bet on Soldier. Not that these games are like good games, but like those games stood a chance. Those games stood a chance in the market. There were so many games that came along, especially like when we get to 2007, 2008, games that were trying to be like, oh shit, Call of Duty is the thing now. Let's put out something that's a lot like that. And some of those games felt like they were at least sort of worth your time. And Call of Duty wasn't so dominant across the entire calendar that these other games could exist. But now in a world where, like, oh, well, what style of shooter do you like? Is it Halo? Is it Call of Duty? Or is it Battlefield? And then, of course, obviously you get to the more tactical stuff. But I'm talking like big, dumb, mainstream video games, right? Obviously, if you want to go play extraction shooters and you want to go, get into Tarkov or if you're a Valorant dork or whatever, like, yeah, of course, like that stuff still exists. But I guess I just view that stuff as like slightly different or a slightly different level of appeal. No, not a level of appeal, style of appeal that doesn't always directly compete with that stuff. It's like the same way, like a lot of wrestling websites will also talk about MMA. And like, yes, there's crossover, but it isn't guaranteed. Like, yes, there's crossover. There are people who play Call of Duty that also love Counter-Strike 2. I'm sure of it, right? But it's not the same thing, kind of, Counter-Strike 2 is such a more serious game. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's even a bad way to frame it. I was going to say Counter-Strike 2 is it's just a more serious game than Call of Duty, but obviously there are objective modes. I'm saying there are people who take Call of Duty very seriously. I think those people are crazy. But okay. I still like, it's so popular, like, why wouldn't they? But at the same time, every time the concept of ranked Call of Duty comes out, like, you're gonna get in the ranked matches, like, fuck no. What? I'm gonna fucking run around with some dumb fucking guns and I'm gonna shoot people in the fucking face or stab them in the back or whatever, and it's gonna be a fucking fantastic, very light time. To me, Call of Duty is like it's like a relaxing thing. It's like fuck it, man. Play a little Call of Duty and whatever. I don't smoke drugs, but if I did, that and Call of Duty, I think would be more my speed. Whereas like, Counter-Strike and, even, Valorant, obviously to an extent, is a more serious team game than I want out of any of this stuff. That's for sure. The reason I don't, I don't like those types of games, but like the reason I wouldn't want to play Counter-Strike 2 seriously, or just that I wouldn't want to go join regular bomb defusal CS2 or something like that, is that game's been around forever. People want players who are good. I'm not good. I don't know what to do. I'm just a liability to the fucking team. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to fucking deal with whether it's people being shitty to you because you don't know what you're doing. Because why would I? Like, there are new players that might get into those games all the time, and some do, some don't. Some get driven away. I don't know. That's why I play gun game. when I play CS2, or they finally did put gun game into CS2, right? It wasn't there for a little bit. But when I play Counter-Strike, I like to play a gun game. I like to just fuck around. Splitgate was the last shooter you had fun with. Yeah, Splitgate is neat. Splitgate is neat. Splitgate's a Halo. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, like Splitgate is Halo with Portal in it, and that's awesome. It's awesome that they did that. That's a cool. Turns out that's a really cool fucking idea. But like pacing wise and movement wise, like that game to me always felt like, hey, we sat down and very deliberately tried to make a game that was like old Halo, and then put this twist on it, and people ate it up. And then Halo came out, and the future of Splitgate seemed a little weird, but then people were mad at Halo, and maybe that afforded Splitgate a little bit more life than it would have gotten otherwise. Like if Halo Infinite had come out and like people just loved it across the board and had no technical issues and whatever else, like I wonder if that would have, if the story of Splitgate would have changed at all, if the trajectory of it maybe would have changed. But I don't know. It always feels like that there's going to be room for something to break through. I think you have to believe that like there's always going to be a chance for something new to come along and break through. But like in some ways, like it has to just be dramatically different, because like these spots are taken. Like, are you going to make a game that's going to replace Call of Duty? No. Are you going to make a different type of shooter that might attract a different style of audience that might pull people away from Call of Duty just because, hey, they also like this style of shooter? Sure, maybe. But yeah, that Tribes game, huh? Yeah. They kind of just they bailed on Tribes. Well, it sounds like the players never showed up for Tribes in enough numbers for it to work. So, a little from column A, a little from column B, but I don't know. As someone who I like shooters. I like them, but they don't make enough of them, and the shooters have become a lifestyle in a way that it's like, it's just not. It's not what I'm really looking to do. Some of the most fun I ever had with Battlefield was when the PS4 launched, and it was like, I want to say it was me and Adam. I want to say Kessler was there for some of that stuff, but we just formed a group and just drove around like idiots and just got into Battlefield hijinks. And that was super fun. Like when Battlefield is good, it's real fucking good. And it hasn't necessarily. I don't think it's been good since like 4. And even 4 was just 3. If so even 4 was just kind of maybe coasting's not the word, but yeah, I don't know. I like big console games. I like big, dumb, fucking AAA fucking console games. We were talking about the lack of AA stuff, and it's funny. Like you talk about the lack of AA stuff and whatever else, but I think the meaning of those types of games have changed also. Like you could make the case that a game like Silent Hill, a remake of Silent Hill, falls into that camp. Because like, what does it mean anymore? To me, it's almost like, hey, here's this tier of game that you can finish and move on from, because so many other games don't do that. And it might not be the biggest budget, like as slightly scaled that, it's scoped appropriately. It's not crazy over the top first party Sony single player games, but it's like, here's a fucking single player game. Silent Hill 2, the Dead Rising remake. You maybe even would put like a Dragon's Dogma 2 into that discussion, right? Of just like, hey man, check it out. We made a video game. Like, it's like, what's the right way to frame this? it's like a video game the way they used to make video games, where it's like you play it and then it's done and then you go do something else. Like, hey man, we made a new Devil May Cry, and you're like, cool man, that was fun for 20 hours, and then I'm never gonna think about it ever again, or like that sort of thing. That doesn't, those games do still exist, and I think maybe you would consider those to be AA games, but ultimately it depends on what you're talking about, because different people are going to have different definitions of the term, whether they're talking about the budget of a game. And if it's purely the budget of a game, is it AA, is it AAA, then that's a very different conversation than if we're talking about qualitatively, like, is a game great or is it good or whatever, which has never really been the definition of AAA games. AAA games have just been big budget, big old things. And so, yeah, I don't know. The language we use for a lot of this stuff is kind of broken too. Or antiquated, right? Antiquated. It's from an industry that doesn't exist anymore, because now we live in this world where these games come out and they are online and connected. And if you wanted to just play that game, there would be enough content coming to that game on a regular basis that you could theoretically do that. And feel like you're still keeping up with new things, because, the game is always getting something new. Whether that's Fortnite or like to a lesser extent, something like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like the last true hybrid in that way, right? Where they don't do constant season passes. They did 5 seasons, I think, in this last cycle, which is more than I thought. I thought they would do 4. Just do like, okay, we'll do quarterly releases until the next game is out, but they slid a 5th one in there. I was like, oh, okay. And so they've done that, but like every time that comes with new maps and things that keep you going, or in theory bring you back to the game. When they were selling map passes for Call of Duty, when you would buy the season pass, like map pack or whatever DLC, I would never, I like whatever the last map pack was before the new one came out. Fuck if I know what any of those maps were, because I was already done playing Call of Duty and it wasn't bringing me back. You know what I mean? But I think they do a better job, just because whether it's free or because they're adding a bunch of other stuff and modes around it. Like, I think they've done a better job of pulling people back. You know what? Maybe it's also just there's less competition out there. There are fewer other big games pulling you away that make you say, well, I'm not going to go play Call of Duty again. I'm playing these 9 other games. Instead, it's more like I've got 3 other games. And so I do have time to go back and play these maps or whatever. But or maybe it's just extra dumb and it's just like, well, I don't know, it's still installed and I don't need to get up and put a disc in. So maybe I'll just play it. I don't know. I'm looking for, Phil Bosch says, I'm looking forward to playing a nice short Call of Duty campaign. Me too. It's, like that stuff is like fun, it's dumb. It is, sometimes it's, sometimes those campaigns have been like overly linear, and I think they've responded to that criticism reasonably well. Last year's campaign, if you want to even call it a campaign, maybe skews too far in that direction and was terrible. Perhaps the worst thing perhaps the worst campaign they've ever produced. But I don't know if they strike a balance. I saw there was a talk going around that next year's game is going to be a sequel to Black Ops 2, which is like a funny concept when this year's game is Black Ops 6. But the basic idea being that it is set after the futuristic events of Black Ops 2. With, what is it? Is it Mason's son? Is that who the guy is? Is it David Mason? Whatever. The fucking dude who you played as in Black Ops 2. And that's something that I think from a multiplayer perspective, like whatever, and it's very easy to like throw shade at that conceptually, but also all of the stuff with fucking Mason and Woods and the fucking and the Russian that lives in your head and just all the fucking dumb movie grade shit. I mean, like it's great action movie bullshit. And you know what's fun? Great action movie bullshit. And so I really like how fucking over the top and fucking insane that shit has gotten. So the idea of like, hey man, we're gonna make a sequel to the futuristic Call of Duty Black Ops 2, like, yeah, man, absolutely. You need to do this. In fact, now that I've read this as a rumor, like, yes, you have to do it. Please do this. Because that's something I want to know what happened after the events of that game. And so yeah, I'm all for that stuff. Like in a world where you don't care about the multiplayer, and in a world where games are now $70, like that's a very tough ask, right? If you're just like like, hey man, play the campaign. Like, well, okay, well I don't like any of this other stuff, so I'm not going to pay $70. Like, yeah, of course, man. But I don't know, man. The people that say I'm never gonna play I never play Call of Duty campaigns, like, and a lot of people don't. Like I just find that silly. Just let me experience this big dumb fucking macho fucking bullshit. It is just the most direct descendant from fucking dumbass 80s action. Just like, yes, yeah. This man is called Ghost and he wears a skull mask. And then it's the camaraderie and yeah, brother, and you know, like all that fucking dumb shit. It's so good. And they've employed people that have written screenplays and movies, and like there's so much money that they have thrown at the screen to make that thing as bombastic and over the top as they could. It's just a good fucking time. Is it the greatest game ever made? No, man. No. Are they sometimes overly linear? Sure, but even in those situations, it's like, man, I just want to see what the dumb shit happens. Oh, they're gonna have a nuke go off in this one. Okay, sure, whatever, man. Oh man, the player you were playing as died. Ooh, like just watching them pull the different strings interactively in the campaign, along with all that other stuff. It's rare that I've come away from a Call of Duty campaign feeling like, man, what a waste of time. Last year's game, Modern Warfare 3, was one of those times, and Vanguard, the most recent World War II one. I didn't even finish that one. That is the only Call of Duty campaign that I haven't finished. Period. Unless we're talking about like Big Red 1 or some of these offshoots or whatever from back in the day. But I think Vanguard is the only Call of Duty campaign that I just walked away and said, fuck this. Like, this is a waste of time. So yeah, I don't know. Like I recommend it on that level, especially now that it's like on Game Pass or whatever. Like, there's just set it to the lowest difficulty level and just fucking look at this thing. And look at it and go like, look at all this time they spent on this dude's face. Like the 1 year when they're like, look at this dog. We made this fucking dog. This dog's going to run along with you the whole time. Check out this dog. And people worked really hard on it and made us, it's a sick fucking dog. You look at it and go like, yeah. Like in the grand scheme of things, like, this is a nice looking, that's a nice looking dog. I don't know. What are you going to do? Yeah, I think that stuff is entertaining. And ultimately, that's all I'm looking for out of that stuff. Like, but like at the same time, we talk about Black Ops and Black Ops Cold War being the most recent one. That was not an awesome campaign. It had awesome moments in it where they, had a very different mission in there. There was more stealth and spy and stuff. But like, at some point with Black Ops Cold War, I had this feeling of like they've run out of tricks They know the tropes of what Black Ops has been, with like mind control, and things aren't what they seem, and you're brainwashed, and this is happening, and this, like they've pulled those strings so many times that Black Ops Cold War felt like almost like a greatest hits, like a rehash of some of those ideas. And so you get to the end of Black Ops Cold War and see the true nature of like who your character was and whatever else, and it's just like, whatever. There's some similar stuff in this year's campaign in terms of, because they've talked about it having a safe house, and there's a trophy in there for like fully upgrading your safe house and all this other stuff. So I think there are going to be some similar systems in there. There's like, you can solve puzzles at the safe house, and that's all stuff that they had in Cold War as well. So I assume that it's going to be at least structurally somewhat similar to that game. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny to think about, like just how long Call of Duty has been with us as like this dominant thing, and most franchises don't do that for that long. Like it's a crazy run that they've had, and qualitatively it's been up and down and up and down. And, there have been plenty of years where I've looked at it and been like, this is it, man. They're on the fucking ropes. Call of Duty Ghosts. This is it. It's over. But they've always been able to pull it back from the brink. When things get dicey with it, they're able to put out a good one and right the ship and make you at least feel good about it again. Instead of like, hey, here's the biggest selling game of the year. It's bad this year. You're like, oh, cool. It's been bad for like 4 years. Like, no, when Infinity Ward rebooted Modern Warfare, I think they got back in the pocket. They started making great fucking games again. Generally speaking, Vanguard notwithstanding. Black Ops Cold War, I was not super huge on either, but it was okay. And managed to kind of pull it back together. But it's a crazy run, right? I mean, you would think about any other annual franchise always just eats shit eventually. And, there's something to be said for like, the Call of Duty fans are angry about Call of Duty every year. And like, yeah, of course they are. Everyone is always angry about everything. But like, I don't know, like because they change it up. It's the same reason why, like, people used to throw a lot of shade at Tony Hawk. Because when it was an annual franchise, and you had a lot of people who didn't play Tony Hawk saying, oh, they're putting this shit out again, like, oh, it's the same fucking game every year. Like, dude, but if you played those games, you knew, like, no, like for starters, it's all completely different levels. Like that right there is like, if you think about, I always tried to get people to think about Tony Hawk as a platformer. Like when they put out a new Mario game, Mario runs like Mario runs in a 3D Mario game. They've come up with changes, and they've obviously made meaningful gameplay changes. He can throw his hat and jump off his hat, and you can use the hat to, like Odyssey does a bunch of cool shit. But like at the end of the day, he does the triple jump, he does the butt stomp, he does the reverse, you do the kick flip, you do the fucking tray flip, you can do a Nada spin. In this one, you can do hip transfers. In this one, you can do, spine transfers. And this, but it's the same type thing of like, yeah, of course the controls are the same. You know why? Because they're fucking incredible. Yeah, they didn't need to change the way Tony Hawk played. That's not the thing. They needed new and exciting levels for you to do those things in. And the idea that they could do that and still add some cool gameplay stuff. Now, after 4 or 5 years, that thing hit a certain point of diminishing returns. But even when Tony Hawk was not great, it was still good. Like, they still, like, I don't think there's a bad mainline Tony Hawk game, unless you want to talk about 5. If we consider 5, then 5 is obviously a terrible video game. But in that initial run, when it was an annual, when they were doing Proving Ground and Project 8 and American Wasteland and whatever else, like, the problem that that franchise ran into, and someone wrote into the podcast and they were like, oh, I don't know, man, I always loved American Wasteland. Like, yeah, no, American Wasteland's not a bad game, but if you've been playing that game every year since the beginning, you hit a point with it where you're like, the things they added this year are not hitting. And when they started doing stuff like, I don't know, in this one you're gonna enter a slow motion mode and you can make the board flip a crazy way, it was like cool to see a few times, like twice. But it wasn't something that added anything. Like it slowed the game down, literally and figuratively. Like it just kind of got in the way. And I think when they got to that point with whatever was it, I think it was Proving Ground, where they kind of had like 3 separate career tracks. And so one of them was like, you're on the builder track and you and Mike V are going to go fucking put ramps next to cars. And so it's like, okay, that means in every level, I'm going to have to stop and interact with effectively the level editor, and put a fucking ramp here and a rail here and now do it. And, that stuff is cool on paper, but like in practice, you're just like, whatever, And so I think that's the problem with that Tony Hawk ran into, is just from, and how can, you can't fucking blame, like Neversoft had an amazing run with that franchise. But if you got to fucking cook a new one up every goddamn year and you have to build all new levels for it, like 2 things. One, it's not surprising that eventually they started bringing back old levels, which you'll notice that Call of Duty has been doing for a long time now as well. But they also, like the things they started adding to the game, they're like, well, fuck, dude, we're done. It's perfect. Like, and it was. They perfected that control scheme. And then they had to like figure out like, what can we bolt onto it this year that you can write on the back of the box? You're in control with slow motion spinning tricks, like they had to come up with something. And I think, that's what got it. That's what eventually kind of got in the way. If they had not been if they had eventually said, hey, we're only going to make one of these every 2 years, or if they had I think even back then I was like, what about Tony Hawk as a service? What if you just subscribed to Tony Hawk and you could just be on all the levels all the time, because they're all in there. And they just add a new campaign every year or every 18 months or whatever, Yes, they should start putting the Tony Hawk mechanics into Call of Duty. That's the actual answer. If you could get the sticker slap, I mean, you're joking, but also like with the omnidirectional movement in Black Ops 6, if I could like sideways dive at a wall and then sticker slap off of it and then sideways dive in the other direction and effectively like triangle jump my way up an alley, that would be fucking real good. Yeah, that's just roller drum. Yeah, you're right. That kind of is. Joey Slack says, when does Rock Band make its big comeback? The best parties I ever attended were Rock Band parties, and it must be ready for revisit. I understand the difficulties with licensing, but surely TikTok sounds have changed the licensing game now. Seems easier to get licensed music now due to social media partnerships with labels. So honestly, I think the thing that would really open up a thing like Rock Band right now is the kind of machine learning based stem separation technology that exists now. Like you can break a song apart into something resembling stems. I can do it here, I can do it locally. I have tools installed locally that do that. And so for songs where they couldn't find the masters, right, where they're like, oh, we can't find the master tapes for this, and so it's just unavailable to you, Rock Band. We would love to do this deal, but we can't because the masters are gone. That technology opens the door for that. And honestly, the people that are making custom songs for like custom Rock Band songs these days are taking advantage of that stuff wherever they can. And it's kind of awesome. So maybe check that out. But it's a couple of things. One, you wouldn't. One, we're not talking about Rock Band anymore because harmonics is now, like that stuff is all just part of Fortnite and Fortnite Festival and whatever it is they're doing there. And they put that guitar out, and like that stuff sort of exists there, but it's not what we're talking about when we talk about bringing back Rock Band, right? So at some point we're actually talking about Guitar Hero, and will Microsoft bring back Guitar Hero? Or will someone new come along and do something new? There's always the potential for that. The other thing I'd say, yeah, Rad Jago's on it, is like guitar music. Where's that at now? Like, you could do a bunch of fucking classic rock, and they've done it, and there's a ton of it out there. But like, what are the hot new songs that you're going to put in there that you will play with a plastic guitar, either in guitar or bass mode, and you'll play drums and you'll play this? Like, there's a lot of rock coming out and metal and whatever else, but is it popular enough to carry that game? And what would people want out of that game song list wise? What would you put in it that would actually have like massive mainstream appeal, or not even massive, but just like, hey, we've got a good cross section of big songs, new and old, that you would get an audience for, and I just, it doesn't feel like there are any like big rock acts, big enough rock acts, I guess I should say, that would drive that. And so at some point you're just digging back into this same well of classic rock that they already did. And so that stuff's already out there if you wanted to do that. If you want to go play some fucking Boston or some Dio or something. I assume they did Dio at some point. Then do it. Right? I want, that's what I would want. I think about it the way you think about karaoke. Like, I don't want necessarily the hot new popular songs out of it. I want songs that are fun to play. I want songs that are fun to sing, songs that are fun in that kind of performative karaoke sort of sense. I think that's always the best stuff. The best stuff in there, but I think you also have to like get plastic instruments back on shelves and find a way to sell that stuff. And I don't think that the shelf space is, well, I don't, maybe that's changed, right? Because what the fuck is GameStop selling? Maybe they can move some Funko Pops out of the way and have some guitars. But I also, I don't, it just doesn't feel like, would the kids like it? Is a dumb thing to say, but like ultimately demographically, is this something that is going to appeal to someone in their mid-20s? Are they going to give a shit about any of the music that could conceivably be in these games? And I don't actually have the answer to that question. I don't know. Is a 23-year-old going to go like, oh, sick, Bohemian Rhapsody is in here? That's a really fun song. Are they going to know that that's a really fun song to sing? Do we need to reboot Wayne's World before we can reboot Guitar Hero? Like, so yeah, it's weird. And yet, with the way TikTok kind of operates, weird old songs do occasionally gain some weird new life. But that stuff is a flash in the, it just fucking comes and goes. Like, that's not something that you can always build like a lasting thing off of. Like, that'll be a week on TikTok, and then people will listen to that song a little bit more frequently for what? I don't know. Is it a month? Is it 6 months? Right. Yeah. VTubers. Yeah. There's definitely, there is an emo nostalgia. There's people, I've seen people, I see young people on TikTok reminiscing for like the for that like mid 2000s like scene girl emo era, and I'm like, okay, like that's weird, but okay. I mean, everything obviously comes back around again. Like whatever. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, American. Yeah, we're gonna do Guitar Hero American Football, and we're gonna put that out, and everyone's gonna love it. And yeah, it's so yeah, I don't know. And then you get down to the business model. Like, are people gonna buy DLC? Are you gonna do a subscription service? They tried to do Guitar Hero Live, with their weird kind of live stream business model thing. That was an interesting attempt. That it just didn't seem like it worked out for them. But yeah, I guess like the answer to that question, I think it's just really hard for a multitude of reasons for something like a Guitar Hero to come back. You could make the argument of like, hey, what if we did DJ Hero? What if we did, and like, yeah. But like, at some point, just do the thing, man. At some point, like if you want to play fucking Knobs Hero, if you want to play Cutoff Knob Hero, do it. Just fucking, I've got 4 knobs right here that I can treat as cutoff knobs and resonance knobs and all that sort of stuff to fuck with music. And yeah, Cutoff Knob Hero is Sound Voltex, exactly. Like, do a good home version of Sound Voltex. Bring that controller home, because I don't know where to go to play that, and I would like to see it in person because I never have. I keep coming close to buying fucking fake turntables. I mean, like, I guess real turntables these days, but like CDJs or something. But I just don't know what I would do with them at the end of the day. But it's like so much of the technology is there for you to do this stuff so crazy now, in terms of like, oh, let me isolate the vocals from this. Let me get the stem from, let's do the drums here. The it's ultimately like the oh, what the fuck was the name of the last thing Harmonix did? The fusion, the DJ thing that Harmonix did recently, Fuser. Fuser's fucking incredible. And if you want, like, go, like, people are making custom songs to plug into Fuser as well. And that's something that, like, the idea that you have the ability to separate all these songs into stems algorithmically, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that people are doing that sort of work. Like it's a shame that they stopped updating Fuser, because Fuser was amazing. Like that use of because that was built out of that the game they did, the iPad thing with the cards that they did with Hasbro. Like that had similar technology. Like you'd play, here's my drum card, and now the drums from this song are playing, and it would eventually make a mashup or whatever. But then they made Fuser that just like, okay, like drop mix was cool, but what if you just did this? And then they did it, and it's fucking awesome. It's a really, that's the sort of thing that I think if you did a controller for Fuser, which you wouldn't necessarily do that. You would make a new game that was made to take advantage of a controller and whatever else. I think that'd be fun as hell. But the business model gets weird, and like people don't want to buy music for a game anymore, and so at some point, I don't know, like if you get interested enough in that stuff, like get Fuser and mess with the custom songs that people are making for Fuser, and then if you grow out of that, maybe get some real hardware. Like I said, you can separate songs into stems. Like more and more hardware is coming with like it's hybrid hardware software packages more frequently, but like I was looking at a set of turntables recently that just had buttons at the top that would just be like, hit this button and you can isolate stems like on the fly. And presumably that's something that is processing in the background, not necessarily in real time, but like as you add songs to your library for use in this environment, that it is going to do the separation for you and figure it all out. But, you know, like that stuff's just being built into kind of every piece of music software now, of just like, push this button to isolate the vocals, push this one to isolate the drums. And like the rush to fucking label everything as AI impacted that market as well. You know, like that's all there too. So everyone added all that shit to varying degrees of success. I think some of the algorithms are a little shitty. Like it's something where if you really wanted to do it right and separate these stems, you would try a bunch of different models and you would tweak some sensitivities here and there and until you got it right. And so there's no like one button, you know, like it satisfies everything for every type of music and every song solution to that stuff just yet. So, you know, it's something you would kind of want to do ahead of time. Joey Slack kind of follows up and says, what about, you know, like, yeah, the social events. Yeah, you know, I have had a great time playing Rock Band with other people. And I don't know. I don't know if there's actual I don't know if there's actual like a swell of interest in that sort of thing. You know, it's hard to say. It's something that I just don't really know the answer to, because at some point that becomes like, what are the kids into? And like, there are aspects of that I just straight up don't know. Those are knowable answers, but I don't, that's not something I'm keeping track of. But I think a lot of it comes back to just like the style of music and whatever else, like what would bring them together to play in a fake plastic instruments band. And how would that work out? Like it's, you know, I don't know. Are people even getting together anymore? That's sort of the larger societal thing that, you know, that we need to figure out. If we want to call this post-COVID, which we're never going to be post-COVID. Well, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully we will be someday, but like, you know, that really fucked up a lot of things, right? I mean, that the idea of getting together was already kind of a thing that I think people were. I remember seeing parents like before the pandemic being like, my kids just don't go places anymore. Instead, they get together with friends in games, whether that's Fortnite or whatever, and all of their social time is spent in front of a computer, and they're on voice chat and they're talking, like, you know, it's, you know, but like back in my day, we just spent hours and hours on the phone all the time. And so I look at it as an outcropping of that, of like, okay, the idea of just like, we're going to be on the phone all the time is like, no, now we're going to be on voice chat. We're going to do this and we're going to be doing this thing while we talk or whatever. And so I think that's generally fine. And then you see stuff like, oh, well, you know, like kids don't want to get driver's licenses anymore. And that's where I go like, man, what the fuck? Because I was dying to get my driver's license. I was like, let me get in a car and go somewhere other than here. But like, where do you go? What all ages appropriate place can kids hang out and do things? You know, teen centers, like, you know, like local government skate parks, like there's nothing left. Like some municipalities have, you know, they'll have something like a skate park, or they'll have, here's an all ages concert venue. Petaluma had both of those things. You know, it was kind of awesome. You're going to hang out downtown and look for shit to get into? Like, yes. I mean, yes. We're going to fucking go stand around on a fucking corner somewhere and look for things to break. Hooligan fucking teens, man. But it seems like that, between like where the fuck do those kids go anymore? Like that's something after I moved. Like I moved somewhere that doesn't really have a something I would call a downtown. And so I look at this place and I look at the places near here and go like, there's plenty of stuff for like little kids to do. Like, oh, the local library has a reading, they'll read some stories and they'll do this. And, there's a lot of stuff like that. But like, what the fuck? I just look at it and go like, what the fuck do teens do around here? What the fuck do they do? Nothing, man. There's nothing fucking to do. You're gonna like go hang out in an outdoor mall and stand around and go like, well, I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to go stand in front of the Adidas store, or do you want to go stand in front? Like, no. And I think that's the thing we lost, and that's not necessarily just the fault of COVID. I think that some of that is just things were already heading in that direction anyway. You could say that the way that that we have sprawled out, the way that suburbia happened, and bedroom communities full of commuters that drive into the big city and don't do anything. Like there's just a ton of stuff like that you could look at as like, here are reasons why this happened. Like it's easy to figure out the reasons why these places don't exist anymore. But like, what do they do, man? And so I think I think teens need to be fucking bored with other teens hanging out going, what the fuck are we going to do? I think you need to fucking be like, I don't know, let's kick these rocks. Let's, and then you need to say, let's go throw rocks off the overpass at cars, and then say, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Or maybe you do it and you learn a very important lesson in the process. Because I think that's how anything can ever fucking happen. Like, why don't, are kids going to start bands? And why isn't guitar music a fucking thing anymore? Because the kids don't fucking hang out and start bands. Because they have no other local bands to look at. They have no local venue to look at and go, I could do that. And so it just feels like that stuff just maybe doesn't happen the same way it used to. And it still happens to some degrees. And, obviously people will start making music, but like, it's so dependent on where you live. And also probably your school system and how much they value their music department, weirdly enough. Like if I hadn't learned how to read music in 5th or 6th grade and then played an instrument all the way until I was a freshman in high school, I would not have had the same interest in music that I have now. Stolguma says, I wonder if SoundCloud rapping has kind of replaced that. Like, I'm not saying that people are not making music. I'm saying that it just doesn't feel like people are getting together to fucking make music. You used to have to go to a fucking dude's garage and practice. There was some kids across the street from my parents' house that, it was a really, like, I was all for it, man. It was kind of fucking cool. But like they would play Rock Band in their garage. And I was like, oh, listen to that. They're playing fucking Rock Band over there. People still, this was kind of like a little bit after Rock Band had kind of run its course. And you're like, oh, it's kind of neat that people are still playing it. That's kind of awesome. And then at one point they just started a fucking band and they were terrible. But they would practice all the time and they were just in there fucking around and playing. And I was like, that's fucking great. There's a guy near me that plays the drums. And so if you're outside, in the middle of the day, you'll hear someone in their garage door closed. Like, it's not like he's blaring into the neighborhood playing fucking drums, and I'm all for it. I'm stoked when I hear it. I go, yeah, man, fuck. But yeah, I don't know. There are plenty of opportunities for people to make music on their own and make music in much smaller groups, obviously, like computers and everything. And so, that is how I prefer to make music these days, honestly. Actually, what the thing that I wanted to start doing was getting live musicians to play stuff that I could record and sample and then use. And so we would record parts and then I would chop them up and fuck around with them after the fact. And I never really did much of anything with that, but that was the direction I was kind of heading in last time I had the free time to make music or do anything like that. Where I lived before, there was a guy across the street that also played the drums, and I took my mic. Well, I used to have a mic on a mic stand. It wasn't all clamped to the desk like this one, but it was just a more free moving microphone on a stand. And I put it in my bathroom window. I opened the window and held it and kind of put it out the window a little bit. And then I recorded like an hour of this dude playing the drums, but like from across the street. And I was like, this is fucking so cool. I'm going to fucking sample this and fucking chop it all up. And it's got such a weird, airy, obviously distant fucking sound. And then for a minute there, I was like, let's get into field recordings. And then instead I, got married and started having kids. Started doing something with myself instead of getting fucked up all the time and, thinking about field recordings. But yeah, I don't know. It's all that is to say that I think that the problem or the situation with doing Rock Band and or doing something like that right, there are so many different factors, from the music business to the retail of selling the instruments to the interest level of the people, and I think so many of those things are different now that it'd be very difficult to recapture that magic. And the other thing is like, hey man, there's just people, that stuff is still all out there. That stuff is still all out there. If you wanted to play, if you want to get your hands on Rock Band 4 and, imports and whatever else and custom stuff, depending on what you're willing to do with your various platforms, or just, install Clone Hero and go that way with it if you want. But like there's stuff out there. Like if you want to do those sorts of things, you kind of can. Even with drums and instruments, and if you wanted to bring it together as a social thing or whatever, like, yeah, you could get all that gear, and like not all of it is crazy expensive. If you want the MIDI adapter or whatever, or a compatible drum brain or something for the MIDI adapter for Rock Band drums or whatever else, like, I think some of that stuff is still probably weird. But that stuff is all still available. Like you could still get out there and get into it, and there's still a community of people that are hammering away on those things in an unofficial capacity and figuring all that shit out. So, I think the answer is like, if you want to do that stuff, you kind of have to just like be the guy that gets all the fucking gear together and being like, look, I've got 2 guitars and I've got a keytar and I've got this, and and let's go. And I downloaded all these songs and put them on this fucking fucked up Xbox. This Xbox 360 is gully now with what I've done to it. With like don't plug the fucking Ethernet jack in on this thing. Trust me, it's gonna explode. And just do it. But yeah, it's the era of the just like, let's have a Rock Band party, let's have a Rock Band night at our local bar, like, it's just not gonna happen. Because I think market forces are in a place where that stuff just, even if someone tried to do it, I don't think it would catch on to a degree that stuff would come back. And that's a bummer, but only so much of a bummer, I guess I would say. I would love to see someone try to take a crack at it, but like I said, I don't. It's hard for me to see a way for anyone to really make that work to the degree that it would need to bring back rock band nights at bars and theaters and whatever else, man. I had a ton of like the PAX rock band night stuff that would happen in Boston at the Brattle. The Brattle, yeah. That was great. I had a great time doing that stuff. That was super fucking fun. And like people were doing that stuff in San Francisco, and you know, like there was definitely an era where like there were just like a lot of people just doing rock band things on a regular basis, or like renting out like, hey, this off night in a club, we're gonna fucking you know, we're gonna set up Rock Band on the stage and let people come and fucking play it. And you know, that stuff was cool. I got really I got to a point though where I didn't want to play any of that stuff on a stream anymore, because I just there were just too many situations where if things had to be hooked up through streaming gear at the time, this was a harder problem to solve. It just always seemed like the latency was fucked in a way that made us all look like dipshits. And so I hit a wall with that stuff at a certain point where I'm just like, I'm not playing this stuff for content purposes anymore. I don't enjoy doing it. It's always fucked up. It's always just fucked up enough to where it just comes off looking fucking amateurish. And I don't like that. And I'm not going to do it. so, you know, I kind of just hit a point with it where I'm like, I'm going to have fun playing this with people and all that sort of stuff, but I don't want to stream this game. I do not want to stream this game. I don't know. There are other video games. I don't know. There was. I could have sworn there was another video game. I swear they made more than one video game. But as I'm looking at this list of recently installed video games over here, I'm like, so I don't know, maybe. Oh, Transformers. I uninstalled Transformers. So no. No. We're good on that. Let me turn on my PlayStation real quick. Let's head over to the Capture Card City and see what the hell is going on. This is already frustrating. Oh, you know what? It might already be set to the PlayStation. I was like, why is that not showing up? There's a controller somewhere. Yeah, you want to play some Convoy no Nazo? Now you're talking. Now you're talking video games. That PS2 Transformers game was there was I remember like seeing all the import screenshots of look at this Transformers game that came out in Japan and being like, oh my god. And you know, for the longest time it was never coming out in the US, never ever. And then you finally got your hands on it and you're like, oh. Sometimes my HDMI switch turns off, which I can turn it on back on with the remote. It's more just weird that it turns off. There we go. I'm gonna also, hey, while we're here fucking around, you know, there's some stuff to kick the tires on a little bit here. To turn on this other PC that's hooked up to all this stuff. The power cord on it had gotten loose. Discover fresh game catalog updates. Oh, this isn't going to route audio unless I push a secret button that I can't remember. What is it? Is it this one? Yes. Oh, cool. Now I can hear it. What says here, Seb Mall is cool, played Doki Doki Literature Club Plus 4 days ago. That's not a Castlevania game. Am I going to play the Batman VR game? No current plans. No current plans. Last time I played a Batman VR game, it is the sickest I've ever been in VR. No, I don't know. I was that thing. Is that thing only on the Quest? Or is it only on Quest 3? I have a Quest 2 here. I don't know. What else is this Seb Mall been up to? Well. Okay, yeah, we got all the hot games here. I had hoped that the trophies in this Paw Patrol game would be easier to get, so that when my daughter spent a bunch of time playing it, that she would get more of them. But it's, I gotta tell you, some of these things, look at the percentages on these. 1.6. Get all the collectibles and pup treats in this mission. Like, the thing they don't tell you is, like, there's 800 bones in this fucking level or whatever, and you need to get them all. And they're not particularly hidden. They're just fucking everywhere. And so it is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, here's this. You know what? I have not tried the speedrun stuff in Astrobot. You don't have to finish the game to do that, do you? I have to turn the volume down on my headphones for this because it is too crazy. It is too loud, and as soon as music starts playing, it's going to kill me. Yeah, this is... Hang on a sec. Okay, I can adjust this however I want because you're getting it from the capture card feed and I'm getting it from an optical cable that I shoved into the back of my TV. Yeah, hey, does anyone know where the speedrun stuff is hidden? Or if I have to finish the game to unlock it, because I have not done so. It's supposed to pop up as a new galaxy. You have to finish the game. Well, fuck this. Then, god damn it. Oh well. One of these days I'll have time to go back and finish this game. Cool. My daughter must have pushed the screenshot button while playing. See, look at that. And they wrote it backwards. There are 600 bones in the level, and here she had 552 bones. It's stupid. Oh, apparently she mashed the button for a while. We have a lot of Paw Patrol screenshots. It's too many fucking bones, man. Yeah, I guess I'll finish Astrobot at some point. I was playing it every night, little by little for a while, and then just some other games started coming out, and I just kind of never went back to it. It's a cool game, but I don't know. Did not really feel mega compelled to rush through it at the time. And yeah, Peppa Pig. I got all the trophies in this, so we're good here. We got the platinum in My Friend Peppa Pig. But this fucking thing, oh my god. I mean, what would it take for me to come in and mop up the rest of these trophies, really? I'd have to play I'd have to play the entire game and collect everything. She's done a lot of the mini games. Get all the pup treats in every time trial mini game. Unlock all the character collectibles. Unlock all the location collectibles. I think this is stuff you would do just by virtue of doing the other stuff. Gold medal in every mini game. Ugh. Ugh. I'll wait for her to get older and she'll get better at it, and and we'll go that way with it, Oh, here we go. Oh, darn it. Oh well. Did you see that there wasn't a ton of reporting on it, but I did see a couple of people notice that like the Steam depots have been updated for Concord. Like there's multiple branches related to QA. There was one that was marked PvE, and it kind of seems like maybe there was some work being done to Concord. And I'm gonna look that up real quick. Let me change this TV back here. Change this monitor over here. Oh. Yeah, let me see what that was actually called here. 13 days ago, something marked a Steam branch called Sony QAE _shipping was updated. Something called PM Test was also updated 13 days ago. Something called Latest was updated. 21 days ago, a branch marked PvE mode was updated. S1 shipping, so probably season 1 shipping nightly, that branch was also updated 21 days ago. So someone somewhere is still doing some kind of work on Concord. Whether that ever actually exists, and I wonder. So this has not been updated for 13 days. I want to say that's about when people noticed that this was happening. So I wonder if it was a situation where people realized, like, oh, you can see when we update branches on Steam, that's something that publicly surfaces. Oh shit! And if they just moved all of their workflow off of Steam, or found a way to hide it, or whatever. But I don't know what the options are there for developers to do that stuff there. Yeah, there was a Warcraft 3 update. There's a StarCraft 2 patch too, right? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. You know, like, does that game see the light of day again, or is this are they polishing something up to try to take another stab at it, or to pitch it and say, like, hey, if we bring it back, we could do this, and you know, are they looking to do something like that? I don't know. Ultimately, I suppose anything is possible, but it just seems very improbable to me still, even in light of these updates. The idea that game comes back, it just doesn't, I don't know. Hard to see a world in which that game comes back and like does anything. Though I don't know, maybe it has enough curiosity and notoriety after everything that happened that, like, if they brought it back, people would check it out. I mean, I suppose anything is possible. I want to try this. This is hang on. I gotta do some stuff here before this screen is up on stream, but hang on a sec. Turned the mouse on and the mouse cursor appeared for a sec and then it vanished. Cable for this controller. Okay. All right. Now I'm here in the computer world. Now I'm inside the computer. With this picture of Taz. What was I working on when I replaced this computer with a different computer, and this computer became no longer my daily use computer? I don't know, but there was this picture of Taz on my desktop. Let me just launch Steam big picture mode here real quick. And we'll do some video gaming. Let's see here. Change this monitor in front of me back over to the other thing. Did I look at the N64 that Analog is making? Yeah, I did. I don't have... I have no interest in that. For a variety of reasons. Let's see if what it's doing is going to impact my ability to stream here. Yeah, it looks like... I don't know. It looks like it's recovered there. Because now it's like transferring a bunch of... Because I have not launched Steam on this machine in a while. And so... it has a lot of patches to download and or transfer over from this computer that I'm sitting in front of. The what is it? The Analog 3D, they're calling it, right? They're doing their FPGA based N64. They said as much. They were tipping to people, I want to say in 2019 or something, that they were gonna do an N64. I think there's just part of it was they said they were waiting for a copyright to expire, but also, yeah, it just was going to take some time. Anyway, so I don't care. Like, so there's a handful of reasons. One, I don't care about the N64 enough. I don't. The Mister plays the N64 really well. It's not 100% perfect. There are a few games where they kind of have to fudge. They kind of patch some ROMs on the fly, but also you can load ROMs. Whereas this thing is set up to load off real cartridges, which I am not going to go into storage and pull out all my N64 games so I can play what fucking Bang.io. I'll play it on the Dreamcast. It's the better version anyway. And yeah, a bunch of people in chat are talking about the way that they talk about the Analog 3D is the way they have talked about everything they have done in the FPGA space. Is they talk about how incredible they are and how it's 100% this and how it's no emulation, which is an insane thing to say. When you look at the dictionary definition of emulation, they are emulating a Nintendo 64. Are they doing it in software? No. But god damn it, like every way that they try to frame their products, I think sucks. I think that like also, this thing does not support Open FPGA, the weird platform they came up with for the Pocket that let people develop their own FPGA cores for the device. So it, in theory, unless custom firmware comes along, you'll never be able to do anything but play N64 games, which is a shame because it's a really powerful FPGA in there. It'd be nice if you could do something cool with it other than play fucking N64 games. So yeah, it's like, it is not for me, man. And the way that they talk about their stuff, I find really off-putting. I said that about all the way, I think, back to the fucking Mega SG or something. Kevtris is an amazing mind, and it's a shame that his amazing mind is locked up in those projects, because I would love to see the thing that he talked about wanting to make years ago, which was a device that played everything, which is kind of what the Mister became. And I'm sure, if you got down to it with them and talked about the Mister's N64 support versus what the Analog 3D will do, I want to say that the Mister's N64 support started with a software emulator, and kind of the guy that did the work kind of built it backwards from there. It's not a case of like, we decapped these chips and looked at every logic gate and did this, and so it's not the kind of pure FPGA based thing that you think it is when people talk about what FPGAs are capable of, which is fine, because the end result is that the games play the way you want them to play, the way you need them to play. But yeah, I bet that's a conversation they will have in an interview at some point if asked about the Mister. But at the end of the day, like I bought the Analog Pocket because they were just like suddenly back in stock in a weird color. And I was like, well, I kind of want to mess around with one of those. And I messed around with it. I don't like it. I don't want to use real cartridges ever. And that's the thing that they are hell-bent on for probably some pretty good legal reasons, really. Like, it's not the worst. The thing that they're doing and the way that they frame it, it's not the worst idea. To be like, hey, our thing uses real cartridges and we don't fuck around. Like, okay, I get it. But then they would also always just like, oh, whoops, this unofficial firmware that we definitely didn't make would pop up out of nowhere for the Analog NT, and suddenly be like, hey man, you want to play Master System games? Or, like it was just like some different cores and the ability to load games off an SD card. And I kind of just, I'm done with the fucking around. I'm done with the, hey, we're not going to talk about this, but you better pre-order it now stuff around that. And I don't know if that ever happened with what is it, the Duo, with the Analog Duo? Was that what they call that thing? Their TurboGrafx? Was there ever unofficial firmware for that loaded games off SD? I don't know. I know at some point with the Mega SG they were like, fuck it, buy a flash cart. And do things that way, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of just I stopped following their exploits, their efforts. Bartman says, had a partner who got the Analog Duo and couldn't really get the 100% compatibility they were touting. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be edge cases. It's sort of the other thing is like the promise of FPGA, and this goes back to like, this is when the dream died for me. This is when like I saw it kind of for what it was and went like, oh, this is still awesome, but it's not what I thought it was when they were putting out their Super Nintendo thing, the Mega, what do they even call that thing? Anyway, whatever their SNES was. And they sent one. And so I messed with it. I had already pre-ordered one, but they sent one. And I encountered all kinds of, like they had to do firmware updates to it, to the Super NT, right? That's what they call it. I had to update firmware multiple times in order to enhance compatibility and stuff. And it was this feeling of like, well, if an FPGA can just recreate the chips with perfect accuracy, then why would this need firmware updates? Why wouldn't this just be perfect? If this was verified as, they're completely recreating the chips and this and that, then why is this an issue? And so it was like this weird thing of like, oh, okay, this is just like an emulator. Like people still have to make it, and there will still be bugs, and there will still be, like there's still going to be issues, and it's still going to be humans in control of this thing, and it's going to be what it is. And so kind of once I ran into that situation, I want to say it was Mortal Kombat for the SNES didn't work originally. Whoa, flickery. This flickery Steam big picture thing is weird. I don't even know what's installed on this machine, man. Hmm. I wonder if Test Drive Solar Unlimited Solar Crown ever got less bad. There are games on here that I would not want to play with a controller. Like Sandbox, for example. Or Trolls. No, this is probably perfect with a controller. Dive kick. Now we're talking. Oh man, dive kick in 4K? Can you even fathom such a thing?
I'm so godlike.
Here it is. Dive kick at 4K. This is a cool way to play games. Is there any kind of... I want the high quality UI. Man, what a fucking hellscape we live in, huh? You telling me the highest this game goes is 1920 by 1440? What the fuck? This actually, now that I'm looking at this might not even work because I don't know that any of these screens support 1440. Okay, well, we're seeing the mouse cursor. Man. We're gonna need, we're gonna have to start a petition here for a dive kick patch, I guess. Oh, wait. Did it just tab out? There we go. Yeah, nailed it. Nice, good looking resolution. This is the way the game was meant to be played. Anyway. Bummer. We need dive kick in 4K. Did this actually completely bombed out of big picture mode too, huh? I could have sworn I set this. Or no, this is still big picture. No, it's not. Well, I don't have any control over it, that's for sure. There we go. Arctic Eggs. I need to play some more Arctic Eggs. This came out. Parking Garage Rally, I believe, is out now. What is with these games? Why are we launching in Windows? There we go.
Parking garage rally circuit.
Hell yeah. Now we'll lock it at 30 frames per second.
Ready, set, go!
Oh, what? Okay. I was like, wait, which? Well, we gotta.
Ready, set, go!
Big rock. Oh man, I'm losing it. Oh, it's gone bad. This game is I'd call it unforgiving when it comes to you making mistakes. But as far as fake Sega Saturn games go, I think they did. The developer of this did a real good job with it. Do I have to finish in top 3 to, or did I just? Oh, okay, yeah.
Ready, set, go!
Let's see if we can keep it together here. There, all right. But yeah, pretty good soundtrack in this game, and you know, like it's. Oh no! Was that still third? Okay, I'll take it.
Ready, set, go!
I was not expecting lyrics. But yeah, this game's neat. I don't know. It feels like it maybe flew under the radar a little bit. I was playing it, you know, kind of a while before it came out, and I kind of just forgot that it actually came out. So, oh no. Okay, here we go. Just gotta hold it together for this last lap. All right. Yeah, drifting feels pretty good. It's you just kind of hit a button to kick the back end out and go from there. Ah, the Seattle airport. I'm in 4,961st place in San Francisco. Good to know. But yeah, yeah, you can. These menus are meant to look like the Saturn, like was it like the action replay menu?
Ready, set, go!
Yeah. No. No. Oh. I'm usually like not for like fake old effects, like things that just like, hey, let's make this look like an old thing. But I gotta say that I like the look of this game a lot more with the stuff turned on than this. He kind of just loses the charm like this. I don't know if we have full... Yeah, I guess we do. So you can kind of, you can... you can fuck around with it. And kind of get a hybrid of some of the effects, but still get full frame rate, or you can mess around with it. This looks. I actually prefer this the way this looks to how it was looking a minute ago, but this is real weird. Well, I don't think we're going to win this one. Chicago, Minnesota, Liberty Island. Okay. Let's try and get the gold medal in the training one at least.
Ready, set, go!
I got to figure out the timing for that boost start too. There. Retry race new. Oh, new ghost. It's like, what is that? Oh, it's a ghost. It's a ghost. It's a weird place for that to show up, but okay. All right, achievement notification. I guess I haven't tried. Oh, okay. So you have to finish with this car before you get the other cars. So that's, I don't know, like, you know, for a game with like a somewhat limited number of tracks and all that, like that's seems like a decent way to get a lot out of it. Not too surprised, I guess, by the idea that there are no lobbies running. But like what? You could do, so you could do original hardware, but then we could do infinite draw distance, unlock the frame rate. I guess this is basically what we had it set to before, isn't it? Integer 1610 is an interesting idea. But this is basically what we had it at before, right? I mean, yeah, this is pretty much what I guess this is not at double texture quality or whatever that setting was. This is a neat game. I wonder if anyone plays it online. It seems like the sort of thing that if you had friends who wanted to get together and play it online, that would be cool. But maybe not the sort of thing where you're going to find games running. Was this made in the UK? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the developer is in the States. I've seen him on TikTok talking about it a little bit prior to release anyway. I don't believe he's British. Oh, no. Oh, get away from me, bronze metal car. Well, I'm never going to win like this. Okay, much cleaner landing that time. Let's do one more.
Ready, set, go!
I forget that it has a boost start, and then by the time I pull the trigger, it's already way too late. I really like the soundtrack in this. This is you know, kind of getting to the later stages of it and hearing more of it. Like, it's nice. Uh-oh. The darkness got me. Oh, that's fun. Uh-oh. Ah. Oh, almost fell off. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. It's too dark. Boo. Oh well. Nice. So that's, yeah. This is out now. You should check it out. Parking Garage Rally Circuit. If you like fake Sega Saturn games. Oh, that's annoying. Like, it does not focus the Steam window. Anyway, yeah, I got all the cool games installed. Stunt Derby. All of it. You like real Sega Saturn games like Bug? Yeah, no, that's I get it, man. I get it. Everyone loves Bug. I love Bug 2. And I also love Bug 2 too. What about Mr. Bones? I do not love Mr. Bones. I will never love Mr. Bones. I hope Mr. Bones dies in some kind of bone-related accident. So yeah, I don't know. This whole setup works well. I just don't. I feel like I don't have as many opportunities to use it as I thought I would when I was doing the whole like, hey, what if we could stream this hot dual PC setup? Also, this is looking. It looks a little dark on the capture. I have all the HDR stuff disabled just because, you know, it's for streaming and capturing and all that stuff, and HDR is just a pain in the ass. But it still has a weird pop to it on the capture that doesn't look as dramatic on my other screens. But more to think about. More to think about for next time, I suppose. I need to like, I should probably like format this PC and just start over on it, because it's got so much stuff on it from when it was my daily PC and not like a gaming PC, that I should probably just do that. A lot of patches to download. Damn it, Combat Master. If only Combat Master was up to date, then we could truly game. Combat Master at 4K? No, so that is kind of the last step, I guess, for all this, is to redo all of my OBS stuff to be more ready for 4K local recordings, and then you'll see some serious shit. I guess I got a couple weeks for that. I want to try to do that in time for the PlayStation 5 Pro, so we can see what that's all about. Of course, you'll only see that on the archives, because Twitch, because Twitch. You know what I mean? If this patches quickly, then maybe we'll play one match of Combat Master before I gotta go. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And talking about rock musicians, I guess. I don't know. With some occasional video games in there. But yeah, I'll be well, okay, let's I don't know, I have this sorted by size, and I think a drive was full for a little bit there, and I was trying to figure it out, but I don't know if this is something that you can very quickly fully play with a controller. I think you can. Season 2. Well, oh, there we go. Operation Lone Wolf. it's time to game. I should set up all the rear back paddles and all the other stuff that this dumb controller can do.
Move out. See you on the other side.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Good luck.
Are these bots? Who can say?
Weapons free.
All that I know is that some of them are very bad at shooting. And it's just such a glorious fucking mess of a goddamn game. Ah. Oh, there's a guy up there.
Good luck.
Oh.
Move out. Weapons free.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in first place, so I'm going to say some of these players are probably human. Battle Pass level 1.
Move out.
Oh.
Weapons free.
Did they add a fucking Call of Duty tactical fucking view to these guns? Is that what did I accidentally hit that and that's why he's not aiming down sights? Did I accidentally push something? Yeah, no. I can look at, no, maybe that's just, I don't know. No time to think about that now. One of the best players. Yeah, omnidirectional movement real big this year. As you can see, you know, you're moving all over the place. You're real mobile. It's feels good. Auto run, so as soon as I push up on the fucking analog stick, I'm taking off. Almost like this game was originally made for fucking phones. And it's okay, so I've streamed this before, so you know, if you haven't seen it before, This game is
Good luck.
glorious. It's a
Go, go, go. Good luck. Good luck.
the way you aim down sights when you're dual wielding in this game is some of my favorite fucking shit. Look at this. That's... I love this mess of a fucking game. I should play more of it. I don't play that much of it. I always forget that it exists. Is this on low settings? I'm pretty sure this is on high settings. Look at this air control. Oh, it's close. Yeah, some guns is for sure. I'm not gonna install any of the weird fucking guns, the dual private server stuff, because I don't want it that bad. But that has the Steam. I don't think it's launched on Steam, but it has the Steam page. And so when that comes back, I will certainly fucking try it. No.
See you on the other side.
That's right. The best player. I'm the best at this important and awesome video game. Yeah, whatever, man. This game's fun. I know I always say that every time we play it, but it is. This is a silly ass game. All right, same map, but now it's TDM. Sure.
See you on the other side.
Really good grenade throw animation. Really good. Everything about this game. Really good. Like, the movement is ridiculous because it does this always sprint thing, and I don't know that you can turn that off and have a manual sprint because at the end of the day, this is a phone game. And so the controls are fucking weird anyway. Are there kill streaks? I think there's a menu in the loadout screen for kill streaks. The last time I looked at it, it said coming soon. What is happening over here? Whatever it is, it's good. Whatever all those explosions are, that's the hallmark of a good-ass game. They just seem content to hold this fucking building down.
Go, go, go.
And you know what? Good on them. Dude.
Go, go, go.
All right, one more of these and then I gotta go. Maybe I'll hit level 18. Ooh. Are those exploding sniper shots? I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck was happening in there. It was good, whatever it was. Is the team name spelled Alpha? I think that's the name of the developer. Is Alpha. A-L-F-A. I'm not sure.
See you on the other side. Hooah!
Gotta turn my controller sensitivity up.
Weapons free.
I did decide to put a little bit of money into this game to buy this fucking tracksuit and fucking ski mask skin. Seemed like the right thing to do. But hey, you know what? If you're not going to play Call of Duty, but you want a fucking silly-ass shooter that approximates a fair amount of what that game does, but like off, but like also off in ways that are kind of endearing, this game is just real dumb fun. quiet out here. What the hell happened? Oh!
See you on the other side.
Man, wow.
Weapons 3.
Okay. Okay.
See you on the other side.
Coming up. Good scope. Real nice scope.
See you on the other side.
Real useful. Oh.
Hoorah!
But yeah, I mean, for the price of free, this game is neat. It's, you know, hey, it's a mobile game that connects to a server and has like a live text chat feed in the main window. I feel like every time I look at that text chat feed, it's people saying like the worst shit in the world. So, you know, be ready for that, I guess. Freedom isn't free. You're right. You fucker. Oof. That guy had knives. He was coming to end the game. I'm one of the best players. It's nice of them to say it. But yeah, I don't know. It's got yeah, it has kill chain select. Okay, so I mean, there's kind of some stuff here. 14 kills, atomic finish. Oh, and I guess you can only equip one, huh? You want a minigun at 7 kills or nuke at 14? They've got a battle royale mode in this that's real kind of crazy too. Last time I looked, it was like just more than you'd think it would be. And yeah, I don't know. It's got something. It's got something. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me here. Thanks everybody for hanging out and watching. I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday, and be back on Friday to rank some 8-bit Nintendo games. And I should just keep playing Combat Master. Whatever. No, I don't mean that like I'm very much looking forward to playing some more Black Ops 6. I had a good time with that beta, but you should check out Combat Master also. It's on Steam. It's beautiful mess. Speaking of beautiful messes, I'll see you next time.